In the stillness of the Garden of Eden, under the soft glow of 1,000 stars, Lilith lay beside Adam. The night air was heavy with the scent of blooming jasmine, and the world around them seemed to hum with life. Yet, within Lilith's heart, a quiet discontent stirred a whisper that spoke of desires unmet and freedoms unclaimed. Adam, oblivious to the storm brewing within Lilith, reached out to her, expecting her to yield to his touch as she had done countless times before. But tonight, something was different. Lilith pulled away, her eyes reflecting the moonlight as she gazed at him with an intensity that made him uneasy. "Why do you turn from me?" Adam asked, his voice tinged with confusion and a hint of frustration. Lilith's voice was steady, but her words carried a weight that had long been unspoken. "I am not yours to command, Adam. I am not a shadow to follow you, nor a vessel to be filled with your will." Adam recoiled as if struck. He had never heard her speak so boldly, so defiantly. "We were made to be together, Lilith, to complete each other." Lilith's gaze did not waver. "We were made equal, Adam, from the same earth, with the same breath of life. Yet you seek to bend me to your will, to make me less than what I am." A tense silence fell between them, the air thick with unspoken truths. Lilith could feel the garden itself holding its breath, as if waiting for her next move. As the tension reached its peak, Lilith made her choice. She whispered the sacred name of the divine, a name known only to her, and in an instant she was lifted from the ground, carried away on a rush of wind. Adam's cries echoed behind her, but she did not look back. The garden fell away beneath her as she soared into the night, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. She was free from the constraints of Eden, from the expectations that had bound her. But with that freedom came uncertainty. Where would she go? What awaited her beyond the borders of paradise? Lilith descended into the wilderness, a land untamed and wild. She wandered through dense forests and across desolate plains, her mind racing with thoughts of what she had left behind and what she might find ahead. One night, as she rested by a shimmering river, Lilith felt a presence subtle at first, like a gentle breeze, but growing stronger, more insistent. She looked up to see a figure emerging from the shadows of the trees, moving with a grace that captivated her. The figure was a woman, her dark hair flowing like the night itself, her eyes gleaming with an inner light. She was unlike anyone Lilith had ever seen, both fierce and gentle, with an aura of mystery that drew Lilith in. "You are far from Eden," Lilith, the woman said, her voice soft yet powerful. "Why have you come to this wild place?" Lilith felt an inexplicable connection to this stranger, as if their souls had known each other long before this moment. "I fled," Lilith replied, her voice trembling with emotion. "I could not stay where I was not free." The woman nodded, her gaze never leaving Lilith's. "You sought freedom, but what else did you seek?" Lilith hesitated, her heart pounding in her chest. "I sought ... something more, something I could not find in Eden." The woman stepped closer, her hand reaching out to touch Lilith's cheek. The touch was electric, sending a shiver through Lilith's entire being. "Perhaps you have found it," the woman whispered, her breath warm against Lilith's skin. In that moment, Lilith understood. The connection she felt with this woman was more than mere attraction, it was a deep recognition of kindred spirits. This was the love she had yearned for, a love that did not demand submission or sacrifice, but celebrated her for who she truly was. Their lips met in a kiss that was both tender and fierce, a mingling of souls that had been waiting for this moment across the ages. The wilderness around them seemed to pulse with life, as if the very earth rejoiced in their union. But even in the midst of this newfound bliss, a shadow loomed. Lilith knew that her defiance would not go unchallenged. The forces of Eden, the very powers that had cast her out, would not rest until she was brought to heel. The world beyond the garden was fraught with dangers both seen and unseen. Lilith and her beloved wandered together through the wilderness, always staying one step ahead of the forces that sought to capture them. Their love grew stronger with each passing day, forged in the fires of adversity. But they knew that they could not run forever. One night, as they lay entwined beneath the stars, Lilith spoke of her fears. "They will come for us," she said, her voice barely more than a whisper. "They will try to tear us apart." The woman held her close, her voice resolute. "Let them come. We have each other, and that is more powerful than anything they can send against us." But the very next day, the skies darkened, and a terrible wind swept through the wilderness. Lilith could feel the forces of Eden closing in, their presence like a cold hand on her heart. As the storm raged around them, Lilith and her beloved prepared to face whatever came their way. The air crackled with tension, as if the world itself was holding its breath. In the distance, Lilith saw them figures moving through the storm, coming for her, coming to drag her back to the life she had fled. She felt a surge of anger, of defiance. She would not be taken, not without a fight. Drawing upon the power that had always been within her, Lilith stood tall, her eyes blazing with determination. "We will not be broken," she vowed, her voice carrying over the howling wind. "Our love is stronger than their chains." And with that, Lilith and her beloved faced the oncoming storm, their hearts united in defiance, in love, in the fierce joy of living on their own terms. Lilith's story did not end with that final stand. It lived on in the whispers of the wind, in the tales told by those who dared to defy the conventions of their time. She became a symbol of the power of love, of the strength found in embracing one's true self, and of the courage to stand against the forces that seek to control and oppress. In the end, Lilith was more than just a woman who fled Eden. She was a beacon of hope for all who sought to live authentically, a reminder that true freedom comes from within, and that love, in all its forms, is a force that can never be conquered.